Greetings, my fellow freedom lovers, sovereign thinkers. This is LL3's newest podcast. My name is Craig, transmitting from the beautiful land of enchantment, which is also known as New Mexico, in the Jansen area within Albuquerque, Rio Rancho area. And today's date, Monday, August 3rd, 2015. Yeah, it's late Monday to be exact. It'll be Tuesday. You probably get this, but that's okay. So I'll just did a little scoping out. It's not gonna be long. It's not gonna be a long one. Guarantee that. It's like maybe 4 topics I'm going to be discussing, addressing, all that good stuff. And one thing caught my eye, I had to watch the video as well. This is from truthuncensored.net. It's entitled, Obama Gun Control Rant. Gun control would have saved children gunned down in their classroom. And this was reported by Lauren Richardson. And as it says here, Obama is taking every opportunity to push his gun control agenda. He continues the same rhetoric saying gun control would save lives and gave an example of the children gunned down in Newton. Remember what I said before about in Newton, 0 murders according to the FBI.gov 2012 report. Look it up. He's going after law-abiding citizens and not criminals, or addressing the issue of psychiatric drugs and their adverse effects on people. Nearly every mass shooting incident in the last 20 years and multiple other instances of suicide and isolated shootings all share one thing in common, and it's not the weapon used. Overwhelming evidence points to the single largest common factor in all of these incidents is the fact that all of the perpetrators were either actively taking powerful psychotropic drugs or had been at some point in the immediate past before they committed their crimes. While speaking at the U.S. Mayor's Conference in June, Obama took the opportunity to use the shooting at the church in Charleston, South Carolina, to try and further gun control. Calgary Nation reported that the facts show that violent crime and homicide rates increased after gun bans are enacted, and there's a link for that too. So you see, like on this, you gotta see some link pages. It's mostly underlined and so forth. So check it out. If Congress had passed some common sense gun reforms after Newton, after a group of children had been gunned down in their own classroom, reforms that 90% of the American people supported, we wouldn't have prevented every act of violence, or even most. We don't know if it would have prevented that would have happened in Charleston, but we might still have some more Americans with us. Obama said, I know today's politics less like we will see any serious gun safety legislation. Ultimately, Congress will follow the people. Excuse me? At some point in the country, we reckon what happened is not good enough to show sympathy. You don't see murder of this kind of scale or this kind of frequency in any other advanced nation on earth. This is what Barack Obama has to say. Okay, there's a video link for that too from C-SPAN. Okay, on this. And I will proceed. Every country has violent, hateful, or mentally unstable people. What difference is not every country is a wash with easily accessible guns. I refuse to pretend that it's simply sufficient enough to grieve, and that any mention of us doing something to stop is somehow politicizing the problem. You know why, Barack Obama? You're lying out of your teeth as usual, and you're just reading it from a teleprompter rather from your heart. We need a change in attitudes, among attitudes, lawful gun owners, those who are unfamiliar with guns. We have to have a conversation about this and fix this, and ultimately Congress acts when the public insists on action. And we've seen how our public opinion can change. We've seen the change on gay marriage. We've seen it beginning to change on climate change. We have to change how we think about this issue. We as a people have got to change. He is speaking from the Edward Bernays' playbook, propaganda. See, it's like a pattern here, my friends. Typical, traditional, chronic pattern. Okay? Routine. Is they trying to give you the same remedy until you say yes. It's like a rerun, okay? You are wrong, Obama. The facts show that violent crime and homicide rates increasing after gun bans are enacted. And that person is correct. And here's a couple quotes. A free people ought to be armed. A free people not only to be armed and disciplined, but they should have sufficient arms and ammunition to maintain a status of independence from any who might attempt to abuse them, which would include their own government. George Washington. The strongest reason for the people to retain the right to keep and bear arms is, as a last resort, to protect themselves against tyranny and government. That was from Thomas Jefferson. And we all know that the so-called Lord and Savior from Kenya, the proud bend-over Bob to the New World Order, President Barack Hussein Obama, when people say he's a Muslim, that's another jack-o'-lantern. Reading from his teleprompter, talking out of his rectum. He is just being told what to do from the oligarchs or the New World Order. His rhetoric is unacceptable, null and void. Many people used this in the past. You know what? It blew back in their faces. So let me tell you, everyone out there, the right to keep and bear arms is not just a right for the people, as a natural born or God-given right, regardless what your views are. It's freedom of choice. Everyone has a right to defend themselves and their families, guaranteed under the 9th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. Enumerated rights, If you read the Declaration of Independence about our natural born rights are inalienable. So what does that tell you? His views is invalid, unmeritable, unacceptable, null and void. And you know what's funny? This was at the U.S. Conference of Mayors in San Francisco. That's the village people, by the way. So go figure. If you were done this in South Florida, Atlanta, Georgia, Austin, Texas, they'll be laughing at them. And the applause will probably be echoed with side effects as well. Because you know why? The man is just another bellboy to the order. And you know what? Barack Obama, you're just failing the test. And the one thing for sure, even fellow Democrats are tired of your propaganda matrix. So, think for yourself, Mr. President, because I do. Alright, next one here. Came from Media Revolt. You know, I'm getting stuff from Twitter, so I'm like, yeah, I'm going to check this out. And I guess, well, what's that one group called? I think it's Natural Reports, I think it's called. Not Natural News, but Natural Reports. But it's Media Revolt. And this is entitled, EFF tells Federal Appeals Court Google subpoena threatens online speech and innovation. And as it reads here, today EFF and the Coalition of Public Interest Groups filed an amicus brief with the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals in a high-profile battle over whether Google must respond to an unusual and dangerous subpoena issued by Attorney General Jim Wood of Mississippi. As we explained, the subpoena represents a threat not only large internet service provider like Google, but also small service providers and the users who rely on their platform for online speech. Attorney General Wood issued a 79-page subpoena back in October 2014 seeking information about Google Google's policies and practices with respect and content, its hosts, internet searches, and more. The request, which was remarkably broad and repleted with speculative, non-specific allegations, appeared to be based primarily on allegedly unlawful activities of third parties who use Google services. It also appears to be served in retaliation for Google's refusal to comply with the Attorney General's prior demands that Google monitors, take down, or certain block third-party content. Then in December, documents disclosed in a Sony hack revealed a Hollywood plot against Google, with the Motion Picture Association of America, or say MPAA, pushing the Attorney General to aggressively investigate the search engine giant. Later documents suggest that the MPAA and Attorney General were working together to plan an anti-Google smear campaign. Shortly after, Google sought protection from a Mississippi federal court, asking the court to see preliminary injunction, blocking the Attorney General from enforcing the subpoena. EFF filed an infamous brief, joined by the Center of Democracy and Technology, New America's Open Technology Institute, Public Knowledge, and R Street Institute, in support of Google, arguing that Section 2030 of the Communications Decency Act clearly protects hosts of Internet content from liability and burdensome discovery based on content generated by third-party users. The district court agreed with us and granted Google's request for a preliminary injunction. The Attorney General was unsatisfied with the result and appealed the district's court order of the Fifth Circuit. EF, again with CDT, OTI, PK, and R Street, filed a second infamous brief in support of Google, voicing our concerns that allowing this type of abuse of investigatory power by state officials will set a dangerous precedent. It would violate not only 230 of the CDA, which was intended by Congress to encourage the development of new communication technologies by shielding intermediaries from liability based on third-party content, but also the First Amendment. The First Amendment protects both rights of service providers to exercise editorial control over the third-party content they host and the right of Internet use to receive and engage with such information online. Allow such blatant abuse by state officials would harm the public interest, as we state in our brief. If allowed to continue, the pressure tactics employed by the Attorney General here would send a dangerous message to large and small service providers, as well as Internet users who rely on their platform to communicate, learn, and organize online. That message will stifle innovation, chill on online speech, and the flout of the public's First Amendment interest in an uncensored Internet. We hope the Court of Appeals agrees and upholds the District Court's preliminary action order. Special thanks to our District Court Local Counsel, Herbert W. Wilson of Gulfport, Mississippi. Yes, and I do have to agree on that. And personally, I'm not a big fan of Google, okay? In a lot of areas, I'm very minimal, and I openly admit that. However, I'm looking at other areas to put my stuff out and all that good stuff. And I do have gotta get my act together in those areas. But it is a First Amendment issue. And if you, let's check out the Mississippi Constitution, okay? I'm just real curious about this. Hold on, boop, boop. Hopefully I spelled that correctly. People in Mississippi will smack me aside the head if I did it wrong. But that's okay. Good grief, what the heck here? Hitting the same button twice. Nope, right there, boom. Yeah, I'm using the search engine start page, which I like dearly. Yeah. Yeah, there. Let me see. Okay, I did okay. All right. Article 3, Bill of Rights. Let's see what he had to say about that. Well, it's interesting. So, okay, Bill of Rights. Yeah, okay. Let's read what Section 5 has to say. All political power invested and derived from the people, all government of rights originates with the people, is founded upon their only and instituted for the solely for the good whole. Let me just enlarge this up a little bit if I can. Yeah, that's better. Alright, let me see here. See here's Section 6. The people of the state have the inherited sole and exclusive right to regulate the internal government and police thereof. Interesting. And alter about the Constitution or form of government, whether they deem necessary for the safety and happiness, provide such by not be repugnant to the Constitution of the United States. Alright. Interesting there. Okay. All persons okay, that's alright. No treason. Rights of people to assemble, okay. Okay, right to keep and bear arms. Oh, yeah, here's Section 13. Article 3. The freedom of speech and of the press shall be held sacred. In all prosecution for libel, the truth may be given in evidence, and the jury shall determine the law and facts under the direction of the court, and it shall appear to the jury that the matter charged is libelous is true, and was published for good motives and for the justifiable ends, the parties shall be acquitted. So, yeah, free speech is legit. And says here, Section 14, no person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property except by due process of law. Okay, involuntary servitude. Yeah, okay, that's no big deal. And I'm going to keep on looking down here and see what else we got. Yep, okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm just skimming through here, my friends, so I do apologize for that. And, okay, no. Section 32, Article 3, or from Article 3, Section 32, the enumeration rights of this Constitution shall be not construed to deny and impair others retained by and inherited in the people. So, sorry about that, Attorney General Hood, but you chose poorly. Congratulations. Yeah, so this is 1890. Wow, man, this is interesting stuff here. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna try see if there's another Constitution in here just in case, which is okay, my friends. But you know what? It's all good. And all right, let me see it right here. Yeah, updated version. Now, I have something to do it for sure, but right there, he have breached his oath of office. So I have to really disagree with him on that. And I should not be using Bing. Fuck Bing, excuse my language. I usually get a little bit disturbed by these things. I don't like using certain language out of respect, but it's all in here too. So okay, cool. Yeah, I'm going to use the Justia US Law Justia.com website on here. It is pretty accurate, so definitely going to use this, and I'll just say examine Article 3, okay, which is the Bill of Rights. So you can I'm going to add this in there with it. I think out of fairness, so people in Mississippi can know that the Attorney Hood has chose poorly. Alright, so that is it for that area. And next one came from Washington's blog. Came out August 3rd. It says, U.S., Turkey, and Israel act as an air force for ISIS. Pretty interesting here, huh? Cute little concept. And let's just read here. NATO member Turkey was busted buying huge quantities of oil from ISIS, its main source of funding, and bombing ISIS main underground enemy, Kurdish soldiers, using its air force. Many also say that Turkey has been long directly supporting ISIS. Oh, looks like someone got ticked off, yeah? I'll say here, the Israeli Air Force has bombed near the Syrian capital of Damascus and attacking agricultural facilities and warehouses. The Syrian government is the other main opponent of ISIS in Syria besides the Kurds. The Israeli military recently admitted supporting Syrian jihads. And see this, there's a link for that. I'll do that a little bit later. Mainstream U.S. writers such as Thomas Friedman have called for America to support ISIS. Republican Senator Ted Cruz opposed U.S. military intervention in Syria, saying the U.S. military shouldn't be Al-Qaeda's air force. Well, like him or not, he's right. Similarly, former Democratic Congressman Dennis Kucinich said that striking Syria will turn the United States into a military Al-Qaeda's air force. ISIS is just a rebranded name for Al-Qaeda. Indeed, NBC, the Wall Street Journal, CNN, and others report that the U.S. has already committed to provide air support to support Muslim jihads in Syria. So Turkey, Israel, and the U.S. are all now acting as ISIS Air Force in order to oust the Syrian government again. All hail to the one world order. And that's how I'm going to put that in. Here's my comments. Oops. So I put that on there as my comment. All hail to New World Order. Yeah, and you know what? Barack Obama think it's okay, and and people were going, yes we can, yes we can. We'll bow down to our puppet Messiah. There you go, another imperialism 101. Syria's not playing ball, and you know what? Yeah, we may know that the guy who's running that place right now, Assad, may not be all squeaky clean himself, but you know what? This what really disturbed me about what's going on in Syria. The funny about Syria, the Muslims, the Christians, and the Jews were living in peace for 700 years. Yeah, they may have their disputes now and then, but it wasn't really as heinous. Now you got ISIS coming in, which we all know is funded by some higher oligarchs, as far as I'm concerned, especially when you see their black flag with golden ridges around it, which represents maritime law, or some may call it martial law. So who is actually funding them? Okay, not some sheik from Saudi Arabia, I'll guarantee you that. It's a lot bigger than what it is. And if you hear my past episodes, I do say ISIS is just another one world order entity, okay? And this is a real shame when you got some of these people in the United States are telling us we gotta support the Israel government. We have to support Benjamin Netanyahu. Yeah, I mean Yahoo, Bibi Yahoo himself. I'm sorry. He's just another warmongering demonad, okay? And this is how I see these guys. Yeah, like I tell people, yes, Israel and every other nation has the right to defend their nation to protect the people's best interests. But if you're going to provoke it, no. That's a totally different ball game you're playing. And that's why I can't stand this confounded area about let's all attack these Middle East nations and Ukraine, and even Wesley Clark made those statements what's going to happen. So all you folks around the world, especially those nations in United States, Turkey, and Israel, better wake up. And I know there's even people waking up, and here's the thing, I know there's a great amount of people protesting against the things that are happening in Gaza that are Israeli. You know what? Homage. There's some beautiful people in these countries, regardless. I'm not going to say these people are stupid whatsoever, but their voice is not being heard, it's being censored, and I know for sure they censor this with a passion. So please, I beseech every single one of you, you got to start calling your fellow servants out. Hey, I gotta do that as well. I would love to meet these people like Barack Obama and go, are you proud to be a globalist bitch or a stooge? Think about that, okay? This is how I feel. Even James Carey himself, alright? Another CFR stooge. These people are just a bunch of her conformists that have a mind of a cow and like I said, mind of a cow, and you know what? That's all they go. Moo. Alright. Enough of my rant on that. Finally. Yeah, I heard you. Finally, it came out today from Natural News. And this is entitled, Texas Introduced Mandate GMO Labeling. Written by Julie Wilson, staff writer. Which is Texas Bill HB 3499. As it reads here, despite a major setback last month when the U.S. House of Representatives voted 275 to 150 to pass legislation that would prohibit states from enacting the labeling of genetically modified organisms, the right to know movement continues to gain traction. Sorry about that. As it lays in the eyes upon a Lone Star state. If you miss coverage, expose the state representative who voted to keep you and your family in the dark about GMOs, click here. And I did address that in my past episode, so you can look at that as well. Introduced in late March by Texas State Representative Carol Alvarado of Houston, Democrat from Texas. HB 3499 requires foods containing GMOs to be accurately labeled in Texas, as such ingredients have been linked to a multitude of health problems, including cancer, infertility, autism, attention deficit disorder, food allergies, and many more. Don't mess with Texas food. As the old goes saying, everything's bigger in Texas, and the GMO labeling movement is no exception. Passing GMO labeling in Texas, is a sizable state known for a stable economy, would surely have a strong and lasting impact on big food and chemical companies like Monsanto and DuPont. There is a tremendous amount of support for GMO labeling in Texas, particularly in trendy cities like Austin, Texas, where you can hardly travel a mile before encountering a farm-to-table restaurant, organic farmers market, natural foods, grocery stores, and all-natural cafes. Austin is the second largest hotspot of organic food next to California, making it a little surprising that GMO labeling legislation is just now surfacing in the area. Leading the slogan, "Don't mess with Texas food," the bill aims to give consumers exactly what they want: clear and accurate labeling of foods genetically engineered to withstand high doses of Monsanto's toxic herbicide Roundup. Roundup's primary ingredient, glyphosate, was recently declared probably carcinogenic to humans by the World Health Organization, validating concerns that have been raised by so many activists over the years, including Natural News' own health ranger Mike Adams. Take action in Texas. Farm and Ranch Freedom has provided instructions on how to support GMO labeling in Texas. Call the Capitol Switchboard at 512-463-4630 or go to www.fyi.state.texas.us to find out who your state representative is. When you call, identify yourself as a constituent and ask to speak to the staffer who handles food issues. Be brief and polite. You can pull some talking points from our fact sheet, but don't try to cover all of it. Focus on why the issue is so important. How you can get involved now. Spread the word by sharing this article and other information related to HB 3499 and by liking Right to Know Texas and Farm and Ranch Freedom Alliance on Facebook. Make sure to use the hashtag Texas Right to Know and hashtag Farm and Ranch Freedom. Right to know about GMOs. Several states have tried to pass similar legislation, and while some states have been successful, others have been near misses. Was the case in California, Washington, Colorado, and Oregon. Paving way in 2014, Vermont was the first state to pass GMO labeling, aiming to implement the legislation by July 1st, 2016, pending the outcome of a lawsuit in which the state is being sued by Grocery Manufacturers Association of America, the processed foods industry largest supporter. How dare you, Green Mountain State, to want us to label our GMO foods? You know what? Grocery Manufacturers Association of America, up yours, okay? I'll continue on here. Maine and Connecticut also passed a similar message that will go into effect once surrounding states do the same. Here you can view the map of 2015 GMO labeling bills. More than 70 bills seeking to mandate the labeling of GMOs have proposed in at least 30 states, with some of the most recent in Florida, Montana, Arizona, Iowa, Missouri, Minnesota, Illinois, Tennessee, Indiana, New York, New Jersey, and Massachusetts. Thumbs up on that. I love it. Well, it's unfortunate the House passed the Safe and Accurate Food Labeling Act of 2015, also termed the DARK Act, denying Americans the right to know by consumers by consumer activists, which prohibits states from enacting their own GMO labeling. The bill will still be approved by the Senate. Yeah, what happened? I'm getting some delays here. It's just a couple of glitches, but you know what? It's okay. According to GovTrack.us, the bill only has a 30% chance of being enacted. We can reduce the chances of the bill by being passed by spreading awareness about the dangers of GMOs and the importance of getting them labeled so consumers can make their own choices about these controversial foods. And you got sources, multiple sources, plenty of them, Facebook, Congress.gov. So everything's on here, and I have to say, yes, keep that up. As far as I'm concerned, the DARK Act is illegal, null and void. It does inflict with the 10th Amendment. Because here's the thing about the DARK Act, which I said before. Federal law does not supersede state law, except if it's constitutional. And this one here is null and void. Read Federalist Papers 46 by James Madison. It's self-explanatory. And I do have that on my past archives too, like a couple years ago, so you can look at that too. But look up Federalist Papers number 46. I'm not going to add this to it on my footnotes in good faith, but please check it out. The whole thing is the federal government can't tell us what to think. So you know what? Call those pinheads out. Whoever supports it, start blasting them, ridicule them, because they're nothing. What, they got all that money? They sell those souls to big pharma and factory farmers and chemical companies like Monsanto and DuPont. Laugh at them, ridicule them. They're nothing but human beings. This is why I'm like that. I'm really hard but fair. Okay, I'm really hard but fair in these areas. Why? Because I do give a damn, and everyone has a right to know what's in their foods. And even the state of Texas is going by natural law. Okay, they have inherited rights like every other human being within the United States of America. The 9th Amendment as well. So you know what? Call these people out. I got to take the initiative to let my service from Florida support these things. And you know what? I'm happy for it. It's just another battle. We've got to keep plugging away on principle. That's it, my friends. It's principle. All right. That is all for now. And I'd like to thank everyone for listening to this episode. Plus, please feel free to download and share this throughout your social media network. If you have any questions, comments, criticisms, love letters, hate letters, or you want to send me information, always use it with decorum. You can hit me on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, and YouTube. Or you can email me at LokiLuck3@gmail.com, which is all together, LokiLuck3, the number 3 to be exact, at gmail.com. Once again, I thank you for your time. Plus, always remember that demoniac resistance is healthy for the soul and can liberate humanity. Until next time, take care of yourselves, keep on spreading the love, and may your guardian spirits be with you.